Hello.
Hi, sweetheart.
How are you? I was checking my stuff, making sure it was working.
Yeah, I know. That's why I wanted to get on early too, because I thought I better make sure everything's getting all working here.
Absolutely. Look at that beautiful setting.
You know what?
Your puppy back there in the chair.
It's just pathetic. I was just getting ready to text this picture. Poor Ken is on here going, "You people are nuts." I was just getting ready to text this. Hi, Ken.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Good. Welcome.
Good to see you.
Yeah, I don't think I got to meet you both in Tampa, but I was there.
Yeah,
I was the guy. I was the guy.
you were our token, weren't you? Our very
Felt
token.
like it. That's okay. I love women. So.
There you go. There
Well, I wasn't there, so I wouldn't have met you, Ken, but hopefully we'll see you next go around.
I wouldn't know if everyone had masks on, so I couldn't really recognize anybody anyway.
Yeah, hopefully that's the thing of the past.
right.
Well, it's doubtful, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Well, here in Texas, we solved it long ago. So our governor
Yeah.
said, yeah, we're cured. We're all good. Crazy.
Where are you at, Ken? Where are you?
I'm right now in Sonoma County, California, north of San Francisco.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Very
Here's
nice.
Kelly girl.
Hi.
Hi, Nico. Kelly, I have a funny story for you. I did a training session yesterday and I threw Busy Bee out there and only one person knew Busy Bee.
Busy Bee.
Right?
Even my kids know Busy Bee. I had to show the movies just so they could see that Busy Bee part.
Busy Bee. If you've not watched Busy Bee as a pet person, I'm sorry. That should be a sin. That should be a cardinal sin, not just a sin, a cardinal sin.
I agree.
Right. I did a training session that Kelly was on, and Kelly was the only one that knew Busy Bee. she was the only one.
We're all talking about the same thing from the movie, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We are. I think there's only one
Sometimes
Busy
I'm
Bee.
somewhere else with those. So anyway.
Oh my gosh. Hi, Carolyn.
You look like you're warmer than I am.
We are. We're 83 today.
Oh, nice.
Yes. I'm sure Karen's warmer. Well, and Kelly, of course, is way warmer than we are.
Yeah.
It was 90 today in Tucson.
Woo.
Oh,
90. Yeah. What are you on the south part of the state, Karen?
well, we just got a cold front that came through, and we're not supposed to get in the 90s again, is what they said. But
Beautiful.
it's always hot. It's not. It's humid. That's the nice part right now.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, that's what gets you. That's what.
Yes.
Gets
That Texas humidity. Well, especially where you're at. Ooh.
you. Yeah, but it's windy here, and that's the key. So humidity's fine as long as it's windy.
Yep.
So,
Exactly.
we are the #1 kiteboarding area in the nation, maybe the world. People come here from all over to kiteboard because it's so windy.
Oh,
Where are you?
In Corpus Christi, Texas.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. I didn't know that until I moved here. So it's a little nugget for you.
a transplant nugget for you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Hi, Diane. Hi, Tyler.
Hi, Tyler.
There's Kim on. Got herself hidden. Hi, Kim.
Oh,
Hi.
Hi. Tyler said it was a wine party, so I better not be the only one drinking wine because it's.
Hey, I'm with you.
Coffee.
Oh,
Got
thank God.
wine.
It all works. Karen deserves a little glass of wine.
Mine says in dog wines. I've only had one.
Yeah, perfect.
Thought that would be appropriate for tonight.
Mhm. Yep. I've got the other one that says if I'm drinking with my dog, I'm not drinking alone, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Hi, Dane. Oh, we got some. Oh, good. Ramsey did it. Hi, Dane.
Hello, how are you?
We're good.
Good. It looks sunny, warm there.
It is. Yeah, we were just talking Texas weather. There's Ramsey, so she knows how warm it is here too. Hi, Ramsey. Ramsey's in Dallas as well. So we were 83
nice.
today.
It's
Hi.
how warm?
We were 83.
Today we were 52.
Oh,
Where you at, Dane?
Tomorrow is 50.
Ooh, you
but
got
that's like the changing of seasons, which is nice too, you know, rather than being the
Yeah.
same all year long.
yeah.
Yes. True.
Yeah. Dane, do you at least get color changes too where you're at, or does it just go?
Oh gosh, no, we get 4 seasons. It's gorgeous here right now. The leaves are just incredibly vibrant, red, yellow, orange. Yeah, they're gorgeous.
Did
Where are
you
you?
invite us all to dinner, or what are you doing? That looks like
Yeah,
a
we're preparing a little food.
Little virtual.
Yeah,
dinner.
multitasking while we're waiting for others.
there you go.
Perfect. Multitask. That's what we do, right?
Yes, exactly. Doesn't mean I'm gonna eat it. I'm just gonna prepare it.
Diane, you needed to leave that little thing up there. It was having fun.
I can't.
On
They're
your
brand new chairs and there's nothing I can do. They scratch them like crazy. It's making me nuts.
Hi, Diane. That's who is in that chair. I just saw the chair for a while. I didn't see you.
But for her
They're gonna
hairless
make a
kitty
grand
cat.
entrance.
Love it. Well, we had let's see, it's just a little after 6, so we've got a little bit of time. We ended up having, what did I tell you guys, 20 people that are and Karen, you I forgot to kind of tell you the theme at the conference, and the word was not volunteer, it was voluntold. So we got some voluntold. Yeah. Yeah.
I heard a lot of people stepped up and voluntold.
But yes, yeah. And we appreciate Kelly being here because she was a bit voluntold.
Well, sometimes, you know, with things moving so quickly, and again, I wasn't there, but you know, you just kind of know how it's been in the past. It gets nuts and things pop up and you're like, hey, I need this, I need this, I need this. And when people can just step in and do it, it changes everything. So thank you for all the voluntolders.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's you know, you can plan all you want.
Best
But
laid plans, right?
that's right. That's right. You
Yeah.
just never know what's going to happen. So,
You know, and we're gonna talk about this on the call tonight, but one of the things I was so impressed with, because that hotel, we were one of the first events that they had coming back, and so they were still trying to get their staff around. And we had a couple of times that we had no tech support, and I remember getting a text and going into a room, and whoever was moderating was like, I moved that button and it worked, and I'm like, good, boom, take that, whatever that was. So everybody was
Tired.
amazing. Yeah, just adjusted and went, yeah, made it work. Don't know if it was right, but made it work.
Well, this year was interesting because it was another little pivot, you know, a little bit of a pivot, just adjustments being made. Last year was a big pivot. So, you know, you start learning how to just improvise and get through it. So, and do it well.
Yeah. Yeah. It, one of our conversations this morning, every Thursday, we have a conference committee call, and we were talking about how it's that little duck, you know, everybody sees that little duck swimming, and below is all those little feet that are paddling. Tyler's running one direction and Mary's running a direction and I'm going a direction. But you didn't let him see you sweat.
Yep.
Swimming.
Be a duck. Be a duck.
Be a duck, right? Be a duck. Ooh, that might be a good theme.
There we go.
Yeah.
Can
Might
noodle
be a
on
good
that for a
thing.
little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
anything that's said here has potential, guys. So
Right.
we're always listening and trying to come up with some new ideas. So I'm just looking to see if we have 1, 2, 3.
And we're being recorded too, Karen. So we'll throw that out there for those that weren't able to make it. They can still hear all your wonderful stuff. So
I think we should get started. There's 10 of us here right now.
Yeah.
It's 6:06 and we've got an hour here. So I just want to make sure that we hit everything. There's a lot of information, but I don't want to over, talk, I guess. I want to make sure that you guys have questions, you can ask those. This is the first time we've done this. We have about, I think, 9 committees within the IAAHPC. And the conference committee is one of those. And we are, soliciting volunteers for conference committee, and we're doing a little kind of morphing of it too, because we're changing. We're getting a growing membership. We are, I think, just feeling like at last minute trying to get people to come in, or maybe not connecting people who really want to be part of it. First of all, thank you all for coming. Thank you for understanding the change in time, or the date, I should say, and for being here tonight, because this is what it's about, getting people together who want to be here. And that's a big part of it. So being present, wanting to be here, being passionate about what we do, wanting to get this organization at the next level. So conference committee is really a group of, I don't know, just amazingness. The people who are on this committee, and I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Karen Christopher, and I've been coming to conferences for quite a few years now, but this was my first really volunteer role last year as co-chair. And so there were some things that went on that didn't allow me to be fully engaged. I was present pretty much at every meeting, but there were some things that sidelined me. I want to introduce, though, Colleen Ellis, who's right there. So Colleen's been here from the get-go, and she's our executive director, and she has been part of all the conference committee meetings as well. And Tyler Carmack is here. I don't have everybody's face there, but integral part as well of this group, and pretty much all things IAAHPC. We'll just put her under that big umbrella. She's done it all, and is amazing as well. And Sarah Hopkins, she's not here yet. She had an appointment, so she's not here yet, but she's our treasurer and part of our conference committee as well. And then Mary Craig, who's not able to make it either, who kind of fits under the umbrella of doing all things. She's been treasurer, she does registration, she works the website, she's she's just wealth of knowledge. So anyway, those are the kind of the core people. Diane is our president-elect, and she will be joining us once things kind of settle down for her. And so usually the president of the organization is part of that conference committee. So outside of that, really what we're trying to do right now is restructure the little bit of restructuring, really bringing more people on to assist, because it's literally chickens running around with their heads cut off at the end, and doing it very gracefully. But we would love your help, and we want to plug people in. So you guys have anything to say that you want to add, guys, from committee?
I think the only thing I would like to ask right out the gate, and it may be a situation that you don't know what you don't know, and that's why you're here, because I do think some of the responsibilities of what we do at conference and all the elements that are involved are probably a little bit of a mystery. And I know Karen is also going to talk a little bit about maybe some of the other committees that we have as well, that maybe you want to plug into. But I think one of the things here's what I'm really proud of and really excited to watch your guys' faces tonight. I think you're going to be really kind of fascinated by all the moving parts and all the things. I mean, if you would watch how Tyler puts together this puzzle of where speakers are going to go and how they're going to end up in it's magical how it happens. Absolutely magical. And I think there's a lot of things like that are just, you guys see the end result, but to really kind of get to see the behind the scenes stuff, I just think it's like fairy dust, it's like, whoop, and here we go. And it happened. So that's what I'm excited about tonight. But I think that where I was coming with that is there anything for us? Is there any specific question that you guys might have that by the time we get to the end of our time together tonight and a glass of wine together, is there any specific question that you want to make sure, in particular, Karen or myself or Tyler, and Kim as well, because Kim has been amazing as in bringing in volunteers and knowing where to plug them in and all that kind of stuff. So is there any in particular question that we need to make sure is on the table before Karen kind of starts giving some really good juicy deets? We got the deets tonight.
Anything burning from waiting a week?
Just
How
ready.
much do you think of a time commitment this requires?
That is a great question, Jane, because I actually was thinking about that, and there's not one answer because it depends on what role you're playing. And the way we're going to be working the committee this year, you may be working really a lot more on the front end and settling back on the back end towards conference. Typically, we're kind of ramping up, and then those final months during the summer really hit it hard. So when I was brought on, I was told an hour a week, and this is co-chair for our meetings. And,
Fine, let's go out. Sorry,
oh, that's okay.
it's Elmer. He's he's my rescue dog, and that's how he lets me know when he has to go outside.
That's
So
perfectly fine. We can still
we're gonna
chat.
go outside. Okay, go. I'm gonna mute you guys. Okay, go.
Okay. So yeah, so is she muting us or is she muting herself? Can you hear us,
Muting
Jane?
yourself.
Okay. So the real thing is that, we usually have an hour meeting once a week. We're working that so that you're not there every week. We don't want everybody to have to be there every week, but basically forming subcommittees so that you can work on certain projects and then report in once a month. And if you want to come to the meetings, that's fine. It's just the obligation to be there. There's going to be a core group that are going to meet every week to make sure things are running and, the cogs are turning and people are communicating. But that's what's going to make it a little different this year. Last year we all met every week because, it was a small group. And, but with a larger group with specific tasks and, duties, we're going to try to spread that out so we're not doing it every single week for everybody. Okay. There's some background, hours. And again, most of that happens near the end. Right now, call for proposals and speaker selection are going to be kind of the key things that are really going to take more time right now. So, and then that'll flip flop. There's some other things that'll take more time as we get near conference. So it's very dependent, and I don't have anything. I wish I had the ability to kind of type up some roles, like what that looks like, but we never stick to those anyway. We kind of all pitch in and end up doing what we can. So I didn't want to make any promises either. So, but that's basically the structure. It's weekly meetings for core group, and then depending on what subcommittee group you're in, coming in once a month on a select week to let us know where things are at. And if you have, we're always available, of course, during the week to answer questions, communicate, do things like that. There's a lot that goes on in the background that way.
And I think that little bit of maybe the nebulous answer, which was the perfect answer, Karen, is that all of us were doing everything. And so as we talked this morning and really kind of divvied up the committees and what the committee's responsibilities are going to be, when you can divide and conquer, you can really take and all these activities that all of us are like, I got it, just give it to me, I'll go do it, and I've got that one. And all of us grabbing stuff versus saying, hey, listen, the marketing committee is working on this and they got it. And we got sponsorship committee that's working on this and they got it. And you got, Tyler and her group with speaker selection and the puzzle that's going together. They got it. They're doing that. We got Sarah and Mary over here running financials and telling us what we can and can't do. And so that's running, so now it's just a little bit of a divide and conquer versus, we just had to take the small group that we had and everybody had to divvy it up. So we don't really have anything to point to, Dane, that says, you know what, we can tell you it's probably going to be about 4 hours a month. That's it. But I believe, here's what I believe, Tyler, jump in and help me on this one, and Karen, that with us dividing and conquering, that the volunteer work should not be onerous, but for spot times. So let's just say speaker selection with Tyler. That one is now you're reviewing, I don't know, Tyler, what do you get in? 50 speakers, 50 proposals. And, now saying, we believe this one's the best. And, now we're going to do it. Which track would they fit in? And how's that going to go? The logistics on this, which at some point during our call, to have a little bit of fun to talk to you about logistics, because it is kind of interesting. Last minute speaker cancellations. Well, okay, how are we going to fill that spot? What are you going to do with a day before cancellation? You got some little funky things like that. So Tyler, I don't jump in on this one with your thoughts.
Well, so maybe it's easier if we just kind of tackle the big parts of conference, I guess. So, and it's going to be a little bit different this year because we're planning virtual for next year. And then we're also starting to scout locations for 2023. But typically venue is a big one. So the contract that comes with conference has food and beverage minimums and room reservation minimums, and just managing that relationship and the space is a big chunk of it. For virtual conference, that's choosing a platform, making sure we know the requirements and the logistics of that. Thankfully, we have Jeff Lewis, who's very well versed in all of that and helps us out a lot with the technical part of virtual conference. So, there's certainly room to help with venue in either year. Speakers is a big one. I think what makes the most sense for us next year is to divide into hopefully 1 or 2 people to help with the call for proposals, getting all of those in and getting them selected. That's not something you have to do just the 2 people that take on this role. We have a group of people that'll go through and rank which ones they want to hear and send that back to you. But you put that information together, figure out how many hours we need in each track, and communicate with the speakers. And then another 1 or 2 people who then would take all of the accepted speakers and kind of walk them through the process. So getting their recordings in, getting their proceedings in, keeping those things organized and walking with them through conference. So a couple people needed to do speakers from now until the end of January, and then a couple people to do speakers kind of February 1st through conference. And then switching. So I'm hoping the people that do call for proposals and acceptance this year would continue and just reset that and do it again for 2023. And same thing with the couple people that do speaker management. They would do speaker management for virtual, get a break for a little while the call for proposal people take over, and then they take over again leading up to 2023 conference. And so that most of that is on your own time when you have, time to get some of that done. And then working with Colleen and I for overall conference scheduling, there's certainly a group of social events. So there'll be a social group for virtual doing all of the interactive stuff that we did with virtual last year, and then a social and interaction group for in-person conference. There's Kim has helped us with our volunteer coordination. So making sure our moderators, we have them lined up and organized. Our self-care room, our different events like the headshots or anything else that we want to bring in. Colleen does a lot of sponsor organization and definitely has some room for help there. And that's almost kind of like the speakers. There's the initial call for sponsors, and then once we get them in and we have our accepted sponsors, walking with them through conference and making sure their virtual booth is set up, or making sure they know when and where to be at conference. So there's kind of these big chunks, and if you have a strong interest in any one of those chunks, that's where we think with our weekly meetings, say, you know, the first week of the month, we're really talking venue, organization, and schedule. You would be a part of that one. The second meeting of the month, we're talking speakers and speaker management. You would just be a part of that one. If you like the overall how all these pieces fit together, then by all means come to all of those meetings. But I think it's really how I would look at it is, what do you enjoy the most about conference? And then how do we get you sort of in the back end of that and helping to organize that? If it's social, if it's networking, then we definitely can get you involved in that. If it's the lectures and, you know, you really like the idea of getting lectures in that you want to hear, then the speaker management part of that is awesome. If it's, you know, making sure that everything is running smoothly and handling logistics and details and organization, then we can get you as involved as you want to be. There's a lot.
So the really cool thing about what Tyler is saying, every time she says do, so then you could do that, all the do's are lined out. We have the letters for the speakers. We have the call for proposals. We have how you look at a venue. We have how you set up. Every do is done. Ooh, that's kind of fun. Every do is done. And now we just need people to help with the do's. So it's not like you go, oh my God, I have no idea how to organize speakers. I have no idea what a letter to call for proposal. It's all done. Everything is in a bucket and it just is ready to get thrown out in there. Now it's just saying, okay, Dane, if you want to help with that speakers thing, then here's what you do, because the do is done. And now you go into action. And then I got Ramsey with me and we're off looking at sponsor partners or whatever. And here's the letters you can send out. So all the grunt work, or all the thinking work, not the grunt work, all the thinking work is really in a bucket, and it's just needs to be executed.
And that's the key. I'll just give a little brief example. When I came on board, I was co-chair, and within just a few meetings, our chair left. And I was told, hey, you're gonna just watch this whole year, and you're gonna just watch and see what happens and step in when where you're asked. And so I came in not knowing anything, absolutely nothing. And so that's okay. It's okay to come in not knowing anything, because it's all here. It's all here, and you're going to learn from it. We want people to learn from it so that you can continue on and then show someone else how to do it. I mean, that's really the goal, so that we can continue building the group. And so it is really a well-oiled machine, like Colleen and Tyler were basically saying, and we will plug you in. We will equip you with what you need to succeed. So that's important to know. Don't think like, oh my gosh, I don't even know one person that I figure for for speaking. Who would I ask? There's a whole list of speakers that we fall back on. There's other people that you can reach out to, but we have backbone. So on all of these things, it doesn't mean you have to do all of that and fit it into that. You can explore and do other things. We encourage that, but there's plenty of information that will come your way so that to get people started. So
I would say that that's true too. There are better ways to do some of this, and that's where we just need more people.
That's right.
So we're open to changing any of that and expanding that reach, especially like call for proposals. I would love to see that out really far and wide and get some really interesting proposals from specialists and different folks who are maybe not as familiar with the organization. And it just comes down to when it's one person trying to get that together and then out, it doesn't go as far as it can with everybody on here.
Yeah, so let me just be really, I'll just be kind of specific. We are not fit into this mold by any means, but Tyler talked about 2 people, and I'm saying 2 people, 2 people for call for proposals and selection, and then passing it off to 2 other people.
Oh. Karen, we lost you.
So really it was her and Rebecca doing all of that for the year. So if we can, and Tyler has offered up her expertise and experience with helping people get plugged in and know where to go and what to do. She's a wealth of knowledge for where to do that. So essentially 4 people for speaker committee, if you want to, subcommittee, if you want to call it that. And so that's another group. And then we've got, I know with Jeff Lewis, you talked to him today, Colleen, and he's looking for tech Sherpas.
Yes.
So people, not a help desk, but people who are going to guide the virtual attendees through the, leading up to the conference, at the conference, after the conference, whatever that looks like. So we need people who are willing and able to help with tech support. And
the platform we used is really very easy. It's just not being afraid of it and putting together some guides that kind of walk you through step by step.
Yep.
Click here, do this. And there's a very easy reset button that you get access to. And so if somebody has a problem, you just click the button and tell them to go reset themselves.
And
that part's not hard.
Back to that social aspect too, that was a huge part of virtual. When you're not in person, it's bringing that energy virtually. And so having someone, looking for someone who is willing to step up and kind of connect people and help people network and do things like that virtually, that was a huge hit 2 years ago when we did virtual. So that's another role that would be helpful for this year. And just to kind of another co-chair. So if someone's interested in organizing the conference and kind of leading the meetings and getting people together, I would welcome someone to do that so that we have someone to carry that on and continue. So a co-chair is another role that we're looking for. And we're looking at maybe like 3 people. I mean, Colleen is essentially head of 2 of the committees, marketing and membership benefits. And I'll tell you, and then she's conference committee. I don't know how she does it, but
oh my gosh,
kind of pull together some of those groups together, like membership benefits, marketing, and sponsorship. That's another role where we're looking for people, or roles, I should say, to help, communicate with the sponsors, talk to them about getting the money in, marketing to them, marketing to the membership, making sure our members are getting the benefits that they, listening to them, finding out what they need. So there's a lot wrapped up in conference committee.
On that one, let me just dissect that one a little bit for us. Some of that, because I don't want you to be scared of the sales aspect or scared of, oh my gosh, I don't know how to go ask somebody for money. Some of that is, we just need names, so a very organic approach to that one is, Kelly, who are you using every day in your business? Let's go approach them, and being able to, because I am not one of you guys. I'm not a veterinarian. And so I don't know all of the pharma folks that we should be approaching and all the, the treat, anything. I don't know any of that stuff. I get it. Tyler is amazing about sending it and our group is amazing, but I just think if we had a little bit more horsepower. One of the things I was really proud, just to kind of put some context behind this for you guys, generally, and what did Sarah say this morning? I think generally we get around 35,000 in sponsorship dollars, and this year we hit about $68,000. And when which was, we were hell bent on hitting that because our in-person conferences, we have historically lost a fairly significant amount of money on every one of them that we do. Food alone this year, you guys, was $661. Food only.
Per person.
Per person. I'm sorry. Thanks, Karen.
Yep.
Yeah, Kelly, I know. I see your face. And so when you think about what you paid for registration, okay, you think about we paid $661 per person for conference. We paid $15,000 to lease the aquarium. The expenses are, at the end of the day, we had to up our AV. We came in at 25 grand on AV. I mean, the numbers just, when you're doing an event like that. And so, we can't go astronomical with membership or with registration dollars. And so we go to our sponsors and have them, defray. And if you guys could have been in the IAAHPC office every morning when the Marriott staff would come in and ask Mary Craig, which, by the way, you guys, that's like coming in on your knees and going, please, Dr. Mary Craig, might I put Cokes out? And she said, oh, no, you're not putting more Cokes out. No, we can't afford more Cokes, because we were running right on our numbers, to try to come exactly where we need to come to. So there's a lot of really interesting moving parts that happen from the financial aspect. So anyway, that was a long way around on the sponsor part of it, but man, our sponsor partners make a huge difference in our financials and are just so key for us.
And especially this year they did as well. And you brought up virtual and in person, just another comment about that. This is the first year that we're choosing on our own to go virtual.
Yeah.
We went virtual 2 years ago because we had no other option. And it worked out great. In fact, it was monetarily much better than an in-person conference. And it's not just that. It really is. We are looking, because we're really planning for the virtual this year. We're going to need people for scouting places and venues for 2023. But this year, virtual, this is what we're gearing towards. And the nice thing about virtual is, and I think everyone had a fun time at in person, and we like to get together, but there's a lot of people that are excluded because we are an international organization. So it's really important to we're trying to focus, back into, now we can be very, very inclusive with everyone. They don't have the travel fees and all of the, with COVID, it was difficult. That threw a wrench into everything. But this way we can get everybody in the organization has potential to be there. So we have group memberships, like practice memberships, where usually only maybe 1 or 2 people might come to the conference. Well, the whole group can come now, it's virtual. So that's really what we're trying to embody, that unity and bringing everyone together every other year with virtual. And it's going to be easier for a lot of our members who aren't able to just, hop on a plane and go 14 hours and be here. So that's another aspect too. Just wanted to make that differentiation where we are better off with virtual monetarily and bringing people together. We still are going to have in person because we want to be together. We want to see each other that way too. So it's a shift in a little bit of mindset each year, but the goal is still the same, is to have great education, bring in engaging, knowledgeable speakers, and get people thinking about end of life care. I mean, just helping them step up the game. So yeah, but our sponsors are huge this year. They really came through. And I think that, it's going to be interesting. I'm excited to have other people come in and other experiences, other relationships, where we're going to, I think, bring in other people to even go higher, do more,
What I'm excited about is sometimes there's a group of us, and I've been, I'm one of the original folks and planned X amount of conferences. but you get stuck. You know, you kind of keep doing the same thing you always did. You know, and I'll just give you, for example, last year or this year in September, we decided to do a raffle and not do a silent auction. We've done a silent auction for years. And I don't know who made the call, probably Mary, that said, no, we're going to do a raffle. And here's the difference that little statement made is that generally with our silent auctions, we bring in about $750 to $80 to $800. With our raffle this year, we brought in $8,000. So just that little tweak of little things like that, of fresh ways of looking at it, which is every one of you on this call, you know, is some fresh eyes. And I'll tell you another one, Nathaniel, who sits on our board, happened to go to a conference and he said, hey, listen, they're doing professional headshots. I think that's a great idea. You know, everybody really took a lot of value out of that. And we were like, great idea. Let's do professional headshots. So there's a lot of really fresh thinking that comes with fresh eyes. And whether it's what you want and you believe is valuable, because if you believe it's valuable, I'm going to guess others believe it's valuable, or you've had an experience at another conference of something you really liked and you say, let's try this because that appeared to be really successful at that other conference. Let's do this. And that, you know, that's what keeps us really exciting and keeps us the conference. And we've been very blessed that a lot of people in their reviews of us, of our conference, have said, you guys are the one conference I go to every year. It's the one that I look forward to. And so we want to make sure we stay that way versus, you know, either becoming meh or yesterday. You know, we don't want to become yesterday. So but we only stay fresh and exciting with fresh eyes because you got some old girls in here. You got some old girls in here. By golly.
Do you guys have any questions right now? We've got plenty of time, but if there's something, yeah.
I got a quick one. How do you see sponsorship during a virtual conference? How do you manage that?
So we did that last year, Carolyn. And are you Carolyn or Caroline?
Caroline. Thanks,
Caroline. Okay, I want to make sure I say it right. So Caroline, we did that last year, and it worked beautifully. And you know, we were a little bit naive as to how to set some of that stuff up, and so we kind of went, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this, and oh, boom, let's do that. And I think we've got some cycles of learning about how we can structure the packages. You know, like for instance, we give a lot of virtual exposure, not only at conference, but outside of conference. Even this year, if you're watching your newsletters, we've got YouTube interviews that I've been doing with our sponsor partners. We've got blogs that they write. And so what I like about how we've structured our sponsor packages is that they're not for conference only. They run all year long. And so they don't have to count on one big blast of exposure from us and marketing from us. It happens all year long. And we'll do that again with the virtual. And so just to give a little detail, for if your package this year, if your sponsor package this year was $15,000, what we did with virtuals, we cut it in half. So it was $7,500. You still got a whole lot of stuff. You still have the opportunity to set up a booth. You still have the opportunity to, when people come into your booth, your virtual booth, that you can click on a link and it requests a special meeting with you. And so then you can, it's just like you'd go over and have a cup of coffee at the Starbucks right there in the exhibit hall, right? And so now you can go over into your own special Zoom room. And Tyler, help me with this one, because last year at the virtual last year, at the 11th hour, and I can't remember why we did this, but at the 11th hour, we said, hey, sponsors, we're going to set up Zoom rooms for all of you to go have social parties, social, functions. And so we came in and had Zoom special Zoom rooms for all the sponsor partners so they could, have their own meetings, private meetings again. But there's still a ton of value because it's not just for conference. Now, interestingly enough, I'm going to share this, and I haven't even shared this with my conference team. I had a couple of conversations with some of our sponsors from this year today. And one of the things we had banged around is, do we lump a sponsor package for virtual and 2023 and put them together? And interestingly enough, our sponsor partners I talked to today said, I kind of feel like it devalues the virtual. I kind of want just my own, I want that one and then I'll do the next one. So we're still trying to structure that. And that's another thing, because that one kind of came my way. And I sat here with a glass of wine and said, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. And I probably shouldn't have done that, and that. So that's where I need a little bit of, let's make the packages be this and the price be this. And then, because it was really just me marketing it, I set my own personal goal of 100,000, fell a little short, but we went after it pretty hard, with just the value of an all year long marketing, not just conference marketing. But you still get, Caroline, you still get the opportunity for a booth and for private meeting time with folks there, and your logo is on the page the entire time, and to give a raffle donation or whatever. Tyler, you want to add anything to that? I kind of got wound up. Sorry. I just love that aspect of it.
She loves that.
I do. I love that.
That's your thing.
Yeah, no, I think especially now that we know a little bit more about it and how to make those interactions more valuable for the sponsors, and everybody is a lot more familiar with virtual conferences in general. I think hopefully that's not an issue, and that we attract some that maybe can't travel to conference, new startups and smaller teams that can't come visit us in person, but also the bigger guys that support us every year will make an effort to be there too.
Yeah, does anyone else? That was a great question, Caroline. Thank you.
Let me make sure, Caroline, did you get the answer you wanted out of there? Did it make sense?
Yeah, I think so. I know that last year during the virtual conference, I was so busy that I got pulled away repeatedly, and I don't think I was able to take out of it what I wanted to.
Gotcha.
And so I kind of got, lost in it and didn't feel like things were as easy for me to kind of figure out what I should be doing and what I shouldn't be doing. And so I am kind of interested in either the marketing or the platform, just so that it's super easy for people to go, oh, this is where I go,
Gotcha.
So I walked away from it not really, I think, appreciating the fact that you had that many sponsors.
Yes, very fair. And you know what? That's a wonderful cycle of learning, because maybe that says, hey, listen, following conference, because a lot of people are still at home, and they're still running their business and they're listening out of the corner of their ears, to the presentation. Can I have a day? We've got Tyler has served up a speaker that is going to, was more willing to do webinars and stuff like that. We had a whole track that blew out this year that we're going to put into a full day of learning here, in the next few months. And so we can still bring that back. And so it may be, hey, can we have a day that maybe every hour the sponsor partners get, an hour of Zoom time? I don't know. I have no idea. But I think your situation is very real. If you're going to stay home and be at a virtual conference, you're going to multitask.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And we've talked about, even offering, brainstorming ways of offering learning where people would meet up at a hotel at their own expense and get away from home and, either do it, before the virtual or after the virtual, so that you're there to learn, you're still getting a little bit of vacation,
Oh, I love that idea.
Yeah. So there's a lot going on there with thoughts about ways that we can do this better. So
regional little meeting.
Yeah.
Because, I do the same thing. You're sitting at home and you're thinking about all of the things that you have to displace yourself from all of those things in order to focus and to really learn and have fun. So, hey, why don't maybe we get together and do that, and it's not an actual, official in-person conference, but maybe, hey, we're going to meet in these 3 different places throughout the country and we're going to do virtual in person or, something along those lines. So that's what we're looking for, ideas along those lines.
Yeah.
So that's how far this can go. I mean, a lot of options.
Yeah.
So
we had our board retreat, which we have every year. And this past year when we had our board retreat, we were virtual, and Sarah Hopkins, who's our treasurer right now, she's like, I'm going to go get an Airbnb, and because it was a 2.5 day meeting. She says, I'm going to go get an Airbnb, and I'm, going to be totally involved in the meeting. And that's, for me, was where the idea came from. I thought, oh my goodness, wouldn't that be awesome for our conferences? We just, and if you want to just stay in your room, and then it's like, okay, where everybody debrief at 6 o'clock down at the bar or at dinner or whatever. So you still had the chance to come together, and after you've watched your day of lectures, I think it's got legs.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody else have any questions any thoughts?
I'm just kind of curious about something. In terms of the vendors, do you guys cap the number, or was that all that could come?
Was all that could, that was all that could come. But secondly, Dane, in answer to your question, we also had a couple of bag sponsors, meaning they paid us money to put stuff in the bag.
Nice.
And then we did have like World by the Tail, who still wanted a table, still wanted to have their stuff there and have that exposure. But we knew they weren't going to be there to work their table. So I set their table up, and we just did a little bit of at the end, we were just getting really creative that said, you want to give us money, I'll figure out how to make it work. Just give us some money. We'll take it.
Okay.
But one thing that I am a freakazoid about it, and we get comments on this every year. The one thing I am freakazoid about is that the sponsor partners are going to be in very high traffic areas, because and I know VMX and Western, that's not a fair representation, but you got to go off to the exhibit area. You got to hope somebody comes by your booth, versus you were right there going through the food line. You had to go right by them. And that as a sponsor partner, for the money you're spending, just to know that people have to come by your booth is so key. So if there's a limit, Dane, it's going to be our hallway limits or our high exposure traffic areas. But outside of that, it's bring it on. We'll figure out how to get you in here.
So even for a sponsor idea, for the virtual, they could even record a commercial, or have someone live from a certain time, that if you had questions regarding their products or something like that. So that's something that could be a possibility for the marketing aspect or something.
Yep. So if you saw all the 2 TVs that were at the end of the hallway at conference this year, there were 3-minute infomercials that all the sponsor partners, and every one of them, regardless of their level, had the opportunity to record the 3-minute infomercial. And so that then we streamed them all, and that ran on the TVs. So there was, just that constant. We've got a lot of the interviews uploaded to our YouTube channel, the IAAHPC YouTube channel. We have a few of the sponsor partners that didn't record. I do 30-minute interviews with them. They send me the questions that they want me to ask them. So they're very loaded, as far as what the sponsor partner wants to tell us. And I give them that opportunity. It's their opportunity to splash their product, and so it's 30 minutes, and they go out in the newsletters, they go on LinkedIn, they go on Facebook, and they go on our YouTube channel, and then anywhere else we can plug them. So they get a lot of really cool internet exposure.
Well, thank you. Stop it.
Hi, love. Hello, love.
Oh, he gets so jealous when I'm on the phone. It's just crazy. Crazy.
I'm over it by now, after we've been doing this for almost 2 years, right? It's like it should be.
I'm curious how many, I guess this will be more for in person, but where is everyone located? What are we looking at as far as location? Do we have anyone international here on the meeting tonight?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Okay. I don't know everyone's name, so I don't know where to place everybody, but we've got.
I'm Minnesota.
Okay, Minnesota. That's where I moved to Texas from.
Oh, too bad. So
Yeah.
lovely up here.
Where is everyone from? I know
Michigan for me.
Michigan. Okay. That's Kimberly. Okay, Michigan, getting cold.
Getting cold.
Like,
Where are you at?
I'm from Vermont.
Oh,
Vermont.
That's right.
Oh.
Yeah. Then Kelly's Arizona, Ramsey, Karen, myself,
Texas.
Texas. I
Which is
think
like 3 or 4 states.
yeah, right. Exactly. We got California represented a couple of times here.
Yeah. Kelly, where are you? Kelly Barrett?
Yeah, Tucson, Arizona.
Tucson, that's right. Okay. And Kim, where are you? I'm sorry.
Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay. Okay. And Diane, you're
Jersey Shore.
Joyzy.
Josie.
Joyzy.
And Tally, am I saying that right?
Yes, you are Phoenix.
Oh, she's
Okay, you're Phoenix. So
Okay.
Phoenix and Tucson. Okay,
Cool.
very good.
But I think Kevin is California, aren't you, Kevin? Right?
Ken was Sonoma.
Ken's Sonoma, and I think Kevin's California.
Yeah, I'm in California, San
California.
Francisco.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
Oh, perfect. There we go. Neighbors.
So we've got everything going on here. I mean, we've got Midwest, West, East,
Yeah.
Southern. I consider myself, I don't know what I'm at. Very South.
So I got to give you another little learning tidbit because Karen's thrown, some 2023 site location, thinking about where can we go to be in person. There's a very interesting thing that happens with hotels and venues with nonprofit organizations like ours having meetings at their places is that we can be tax exempt. So Florida, for instance, allows us to be taxes exempt. Chicago, Tyler, did Chicago come through? I think no. I think Chicago needs to keep every dollar they get. Yeah, Chicago needs to keep every dollar they get.
Chicago nonprofits are, but associations are not.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Sorry about that. So as we look at where we can go, where we want to go in some of our thoughts, and we banged around a few of them for those of you that want to, maybe join that aspect and pick a venue and, help out with that part of it. That's the other interesting element is that we can get some tax exempt. And for Tampa, that saved us, I think, roughly $5,500 ish right in that area. So, it's better than a stick in the eye. And so those are the things as a small association that we need to be very responsible about finding and very, diligent about really fleshing out every financial aspect that we can flesh out when it comes to our bottom dollars.
Yeah.
Do you
So
think people are more apt to travel somewhere south than, let's say, Minnesota or Michigan? Do you think the southern draws more people because it's warm and it's just, maybe more pleasant? Because September, can get down to 40 degrees.
Yeah, Minnesota's actually on our list, we kind of narrowed down a list. Sorry, Colleen.
That's okay. I tell you what, Dane, my flag I've been carrying, and I don't know that it's going to hold water. My flag that I've been carrying is somewhere up the Midwest because it's easy for East Coast to get here. It's easy for West Coast to get here. But our highest attended conference was Seattle, right? Tyler, jump in. I think Seattle and then Florida always comes in right behind. I mean, they're neck and neck, right?
Yeah.
So my Midwest theory just gets, shot to crap because then it's like, wow, okay, well, that doesn't hold water.
But
So
there is a draw of like the Mall of America. I mean, there are some draws here that can kind of, yeah. Huh.
Yeah. And
I thought we were tax exempt too, but maybe we're not for nonprofits.
I
think
remember
that we-
I looked at that one.
Yeah, we
I
did a
wanted to
little bit
look at the
of
number.
we did a little bit of noodling already on that, and we're trying to we kind of narrowed it down since we were already in Tampa. We try to mix it up so that we're not always going East Coast, West Coast, Midwest to kind of help everybody. But we kind of narrowed it down on Midwest this year, which includes Minnesota. And so picking a venue, ideally based on what works for our organization, and then looking back to see that tax exemption, just to see, not making our decision solely on that, but knowing that it's there. And it's very, very complicated. I wish Sarah were here because she did a ton of research on, how we can save money. And we actually are talking about hiring someone once we pick a venue on, researching what our tax benefits are, because it's very complicated, it sounds like. So anyway, that's the fun part. I mean, this whole thing is fun. Scouting out a venue, talking to the hotels about what the food and beverage looks like, what AV costs are, getting, the proposals and contracts, and it's a lot, but it's really interesting if that's your thing and you're interested in doing some traveling and
I'll toss out. I'll toss out one other little nugget here, and I know we're approaching the top of the hour to do a little altar call here. But another thing that we've kind of banged around too is we've been approached by some other similar size, like-minded associations like IVAPM. And they have said, hey, can we do back-to-back conferences? So our folks can maybe come to your conference and then stay for hours. And there's another one, Tyler, I hate to keep pointing at you. I can't remember that third one. There's two other groups that we were trying to think about a kind of trifecta, where we were all back to back. And so it's like, well, if you're in Minnesota, and you're there for a conference, you may as well be able to kind of hit another one that's got the same, or not the same, but it's got some similar learning, yet a little different. So that's another one that we've got on the table for consideration too.
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully, I mean, there's a lot to do. There's a lot of places that you all are welcome to step in, step up. And so if you want to, email myself.
There's a chat button. You guys get to that chat button. Tell Karen, I'm on this committee. This is where I want. This is what I love. Go to the chat button right now. Karen at IAAHPC.org. Go there.
But it really is just a great group, and we really want to make sure that you're welcome and put you in a place where you're going to have fun and find value. I mean, it's not just having fun, it's finding the value of working for the organization you love. So that's really a big part of it. And that's why I'm like, what can I do? I don't know what I can do well in this capacity, but where do you need me? And that's really what it's about. So
perfect. Dane's she's on venue and listen to speaker choices. Dane's up, sign her up. All right, everybody, run to the chat button right now. Chat button.
Filling up fast.
It's filling up fast.
Better hurry. And honestly, if there's more, thinking that you need to do on it, you have more questions, please reach out. And, it's hard to kind of put an entire year's worth of weekly organization into 1 hour meeting, but just know that, I stepped into this knowing nothing about it, and they carried me along. So we will carry you. We want people to just and contribute. I mean, where you can. So
yeah, it's good stuff. We got Kelly down for social events and sponsorships. So did you make note of those?
Yeah.
Karen.
Yep, I got them.
Okay. And if we're going to leave a final call or a final thought here, the thought I want to leave with you is that this is the doing is done. We just need somebody to execute. So all the thinking is there, but for your creative thoughts to really add some color. So I don't want you to believe it's going to, take up a lot of your creative brain.
I think just being there just taps into it,
Yeah.
It's non-judgmental. It's very open. The ideas are all, valued. And so it really kind of opens things up maybe into an opportunity that you never thought that, or a contribution that you never thought you would make. So it happens all the time. So.
Bye, Kevin. Good to see you. Caroline just
Bye.
put marketing, sponsorship, and virtual. Nebraska. That's an interesting one.
And if you guys have questions about any of those specific sort of areas of conference that you don't want to ask right now, feel free to send us an email and
Yeah.
I'll give you a pretty good idea of what time commitment that looks like and schedule and all that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, does anyone have any other questions or? All right.
Thanks, you guys.
We're at the end. Thank you so much for taking time away from your personal time, and
Thank you all.
lovely seeing all your faces, and
Yes.
we look forward to seeing more of you.
Yes, for sure. For sure. Thanks, you
Thank
guys.
you. Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Thank
Bye.
you.